This is TVC News at 7. We begin in the nation's capital, where the federal government has declared as illegal the planned protest by the Nigeria Labour Congress in solidarity with the striking members of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU. Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, stated this while briefing State House correspondents after the Federal Executive Council meeting presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari on Wednesday. The minister stressed that the NLC was in no dispute with the federal government and as such considers its planned street protest illegal. He said the Congress's planned action was based on self-interest and the planned action was capable of stoking anarchy. He insists the NLC should insulate itself completely from politics. NLC had announced it would embark on a nationwide protest on the 26th and 27th of July to compel the government to resolve the over 5-month-old strike by ASU. The Congress's national president, Ayuba Waba, said the action is aimed at what he described as getting our children back to school and support our unions in Nigeria's public universities fighting for quality education. Talking politics now, the All Progressives Congress APC has officially unveiled the former Osun State Governor Kashim Shettima as a running mate of its presidential candidate, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. State governors present at the unveiling described the emergence of Asiwaju Bola Tinubu and Kashim Shettima as a ticket that will bring growth to Nigeria. Correspondent Habida Lawal reports.
The man of the moment, Kashim Shettima, is formally presented to the entire members of the All Progressives Congress Party. Before now, there have been questions asked about the Muslim ticket, which many at this unveiling insist was based on quality and the principle of competence.
If you are together, if we are on the same page, this is our vice presidential. It is time to purge ourselves of the bitterness arising from our individual losses in the party primaries that were completed some few weeks back.
It is an issue Kashim Shettima does not shy away from, insisting Nigerians are more concerned with good governance than issues that breed division.
And I am not unaware of the difficult political arithmetic that produced this moment, especially the understanding of our great party stakeholders and supporters across religions, regions, and ethnicities. Their resolve to settle for this ticket is a testament to the faith they have in us.
On his part, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu believes every election brings a fresh sense of hope to millions of Nigerians, and 2023 will be no different. He is confident that if elected, there will be a turnaround of things for the overall good of the masses. On his vice presidential candidate choice, he said he widely consulted before deciding to pick Kashim Shettima as his running mate for the 2023 general elections.
We must win this election so that we can bring jobs, eliminate poverty, educate our children, bring up our grandchildren without thinking of religious division nor ethnic differences.
Bola Tinubu had on 10th July announced the lawmaker representing Borno Central Senatorial District as his running mate following the resignation of Ibrahim Masari, who served as a placeholder. This event witnessed the presence of party stalwarts from all parts of the country, state governors, party chairmen, and party supporters. Despite the reactions, Bola Ahmed Tinubu has said the choice of Kashim Shettima as his running mate is purely based on competence and the will to deliver good governance to Nigerians. Habida Lawal, TVC News, Abuja.
For more on the unveiling of Senator Shettima, let's speak with APC chieftain Ayodele Adewale, who joins me now via Zoom from Lagos. Thank you for joining us on TVC News at 7. Finally, the APC has unveiled its vice presidential candidate. How will this action impact the party's presidential campaign and race?
Thank you for having me. I think finally, Mr. Shettima has been shown to the world as the resolve of the party and the resolve of the candidate. And it has put under the table all speculations, all fake news about whether the Shettima vice presidential candidacy is a hook or not. I think the party must look forward, try to heal all wounds, bring everybody on board towards winning the elections, and of course, implementing all of the programs in the party charter. Mr. Shettima is a very cerebral man, very well educated. He's a businessman and he understands the ropes very well. He understands what it means to provide security, to guarantee lives and property, and he's a team player. So for me, Asiwaju have made a very good choice in him, and we hope for the best. And Mr. Shettima also have a lot of youthful zeal in him. He's just 55 years of age. So he has a lot of things to bring to the table.
All right. In your response, you mentioned that it is time for the party to sit up and heal all wounds. Just how easy do you think this would be, considering that really in parts of the country, people are talking about the Muslim ticket at this time?
Well, if you look at discussion all across social media, all across news medium and all that, Nigerians are moving away from that argument and discussion right now. They're looking towards competence. They're looking towards pedigree. They're looking at antecedents of each of these candidates of various parties. And in APC, the candidate and the vice presidential candidate are more. And in talking about healing the wound discussion, mass-based discussion, group discussion, and hinging on party workings, party manifesto, interest, a lot of interest will be brought to the table on the next line of action as it concerns party block interests. These are things that will the party will be looking at. And of course, Asiwaju knows how to reach out to people, how to bring them back to the table so that more robust discussion can take place. It is when people have the avenue to hear their own side of the story, have the opportunity to vent. And these are processes that will help to heal the wound rather than bottle them up.
Mr. Ademola, it's about 7 months to the elections next year. What actually should Nigerians expect from the APC?
Nigerians should expect more, better things to come, because just recently you saw what happened with the NNPC. The NNPC right now have gone full-fledged as a business entity, which again, it's a blessing for the Nigerian state. You understand, all of the moribund issues, mundane issues that have bedeviled the NNPC from growing will be taken off. International contemporary systems will be brought on board. Security is tackled frontally. Yes, we've not gotten to El Dorado there yet, but it's not as if the government is sleeping and not doing anything. Infrastructural development is still ongoing. Foreign countries are talking to the Nigerian government in terms of bringing in investment. A lot of investors outside the country, within the country, are also reaching out, you understand, to government and various government agencies to see how they can form collaboration to move the system forward. I'm very happy that even the opposition are speaking out. These are part of what garnish a democratic system. The more people have the opportunity to talk, the better. But the APC is not leaving any stone unturned. They are moving forward despite the fact that people are throwing pebbles at their programs and all of these things. They are turning all of these pebbles to their advantage. They are turning the lemon to lemonade, and things are moving forward. So Asiwaju is different from President Buhari. Yes, they are the same party. Yes, they have the same manifesto, but their approach towards solving problems, toward reaching out to people differ. So we're going to leverage on individual strength to move our country
Mr.
forward.
Adewale, it's a great point to end the conversation. Chieftain of the APC, Ayodele Adewale, joined from Lagos. Thank you for speaking with us on TVC News at 7.
Thank you for having me once again.
We're still talking politics. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has presented certificates of return to the Osun State Governor-elect Ademola Adeleke and his deputy, Kola Adewusi. The presentation of the certificates of return was held at the state headquarters of the commission in Osogbo. TVC News correspondent Rafiu Hamid reports.
The state governorship election was held on Saturday, 16th of July, and Ademola Adeleke of the PDP was declared winner with over 400,000 votes. It's time to present him and his deputy with certificate of return. In his speech, the INEC National Commissioner in charge of the election, Professor Kunle Ajayi, appreciates the peaceful conduct of the electorate during the election. He believes the election has become a model.
It was the first major election after the highly rated Ekiti governorship election, which was viewed by Nigerians with a note of caution. However, with the successful conduct of the Osun State governorship election, the Commission would like to assure Nigerians that this has become the standard of election management in Nigeria.
The State Resident Electoral Commissioner, Professor Abdulgani Uraji, tasked politicians to help the Commission in its efforts at conducting more credible election in future.
Osun State gubernatorial election has come and gone, but I need to reiterate this point, that our democracy will be stronger if we come together to do the right things at the right time. These include campaigning with fulfillable promises, modeling positive attitude and behavior while in office, fulfilling campaign promises, doing away with money politics. Electorates are not asking for too much, just basic amenities to make everyday life easy.
The governor-elect, Ademola Adeleke, promised a prosperous future for the state.
I do not take this trust you have bestowed on me for granted. Our state has now turned to a new page, and we can now look forward to a bright future and a path for progress and prosperity for our people.
The governor-elect and his deputy are to be sworn in on the 27th of November this year. Rafiu Hamid, TVC News, Osogbo.
Let's turn attention to Ondo State, where Governor Rotimi Akeredolu says his administration will continue to place value on the roles of traditional rulers and the immense contributions to governance. The governor spoke at the inauguration of the new State Council of Obas, led by the chairman and DG of Akure Kingdom, Oba Aladetoyinbo Aladelusi. Ayodeji Moradeyo reports.
Inauguration of the Osun State Council of Obas. The well-attended event gave Governor Rotimi Akeredolu opportunity to appreciate the roles of traditional rulers in nation building. Governor Akeredolu applauded the traditional rulers for joining hands with his administration in addressing security challenges. The governor encouraged them to do more to secure their domains against criminals. He added that the State Council of Obas has in recent years built for itself a robust relationship with the government.
Creditably in the area of advising the governor. Thank you for that. You've done so well. It is worth mentioning that the council has offered invaluable advice to our administration, and it has helped us tremendously when it comes to public policies. We have done a lot, and a few of our policy direction is as directed by the advice you have given us.
Speaking after his inauguration as chairman of the council, the Deji of Akure Obalade Toyinbo Aladelusi appreciated Governor Akeredolu for approving his appointment. Obalade promised to join hands with the governor in the fight against enemies of the state and the people.
Let me use the avenue to illustrate and once again re-echo our continued clamor for a constitutional role for traditional rulers. This will enable us to contribute more effectively to national issues and play a crucial role in providing results.
The chairman of the council is expected to pilot the affairs of traditional rulers in the state for 2 years. Ayodeji Moradeyo, TVC News, Akure.
In Zamfara, Governor Bello Matawale has directed traditional institutions in the state to seek approval from government before awarding and conferring traditional titles. The governor said henceforth, all emirs, senior district heads, and district heads must seek permission from the state government before conferring traditional titles on anyone. According to the governor, the directive becomes necessary in order to check indiscriminate award and possible abuse of the traditional institution. This directive comes after a traditional title was controversially bestowed last week by the Yandoto Emirate, a development that did not go down well with majority of people within and outside the state. To Benue, where the State Command of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, has paraded 7 suspects for various other criminal offenses in Makudi. Some of the suspects were arrested for criminal conspiracy and fertilizer diversion. Maya Wakwato reports.
Known as the food basket of Nigeria, the most common occupation in Benue State remains farming. To be a productive farmer, you need fertilizer. Now, some of these suspects were arrested for criminal conspiracy. Suspected case of fertilizer diversion of 16 bags of different brands of fertilizers.
So what I know is not, when you people watch the fertilizer saying here, make people check. It's not adulterated fertilizer. It's fertilizer where people they are using all the time. Even here, what we did now, we didn't know. As they tell us to pick this fertilizer outside, when I watch it, there is bag way open, see small. So it's true there, if the fertilizer kg didn't reach, it's where they are getting the mistake.
Here is another suspected case of child trafficking and trafficking in persons. Both victims and suspects narrate their sides of the story.
Tabitha told us that she has a supermarket there and a bar which she do sell beer and sell clothes. So she said she would take us there. So we said that okay, since it is that business, we will go. We are staying in Burkina Faso, which they were slaves, turning people, children to slaves, sleeping with men every blessed day and night without food. If you refuse to do that work, they will not give you food.
They suspect me say I carry girls travel. My first time be this. Say na work, they come meet me say they won't work. I say okay, we'll go that side. Work dey there, any work dey there.
The state commandant who led the parade enlightened parents and guardians about the dangers involved in giving out their awards to acclaimed helpers.
Either a friend or a family member will say, let me help your daughter. All of them are female. I want to help them to find job. Usually, it's not job finding. Most end up being slaughtered for what we call organ harvest. And most are used for rituals. And then most end up as sexual slaves. And those who are lucky, they come just have help. Not for any education.
It is important to note that the NSCDC is responsible for ensuring that different farming inputs like fertilizers are in the right quality. Mayowa Okwato, TVC News, Makodi.
In other news, President Muhammadu Buhari has launched a compendium containing a total of 266 ecological projects completed across the country in the last 7 years. The president said 332 ecological projects were approved during the period in review, out of which 266 were accomplished, while the remaining 66 are at different stages of completion. The President launched the publication before the commencement of this week's Federal Executive Council meeting. He commended the Secretary to the Government of the Federation and the management team of the Ecological Project Office for the judicious use of available resources for the effective implementation of approved projects, as well as the initiative for the publication. The President directed ministries, departments, and agencies to showcase their performance and achievements to the public. The Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, told the President that the 554-page publication is aimed at keeping the public abreast of the efforts of the administration in addressing verified ecological problems across the country. To health matters now. A report that reviews the implementation of the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund by major health agencies has been launched. The State of Primary Healthcare Service Delivery in Nigeria report hopes to redirect actions towards improving healthcare service delivery across the country for the health benefits of all Nigerians. Health correspondent Kemi Balogun has details.
The National Health Act aims to substantially increase revenue and improve primary healthcare services through an important component, the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund. But there still remains an inability of primary healthcare centers to provide basic medical services to the Nigerian population. In order for additional revenue to reach primary healthcare centers efficiently, it is necessary that strategies are in place to ensure accountability for implementing the BHCPF.
The place where more people live at the primary level, in the rural areas, had the least funding because of the inadequacy of state resources in that sense. So the Health Act and the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund was conceived or conceptualized to make it look like if money is available, if more money is available at that level, it can improve service delivery at the primary health care. Can you imagine this all, that the health sector return money back for not spending? It happens in this 2022. If we ask, it's only 2 years, 2018 and 2019, that has been released. We still have 3 years' money lying in account, and Nigerians are sovereign.
BHCPF is essentially not primarily a health sector reform, but is also a public financial management reform.
The launch of the State of Healthcare Service Delivery in Nigeria report hopes to stimulate action towards improving healthcare delivery across all levels of the 36 states and the FCT.
This report, which provides comprehensive assessment of the implementation of basic healthcare provision fund by ranking the health system performance across the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory, use a standard group of health system indicators and recommended pathways to increase utilization at the subnational level.
The report evaluated states based on enabling legal and policy environments for health and health planning, service delivery, and community involvement. Only a little fraction of primary healthcare facilities across Nigeria are fully functional, while majority of them cannot even provide the necessary and essential medical services for the teeming population. Kemi Balogun, TVC News, Abuja.
Here in Lagos, the state government says it is not backing down on its drive to create effective awareness about HIV prevention and checking the stigmatization of persons living with the virus. The government, through the state's AIDS Control Agency, has begun a series of training for religious leaders across the state for limitless knowledge transfer, even at the grassroots. Senior correspondent Jacqueline Ogo reports, and will be back with business news.
A 2018 statistic says 1.8 million people in Nigeria are living with the AIDS virus, HIV, and 120,000 of them are in Lagos. That 2018 figure cannot be said to be realistic because every day people with varied behavioral patterns and sexual tendencies move from one part of the country to the other with the potential of spreading the virus. Some who already know their status don't go to care centers because they fear being identified and stigmatized.
You must use rubber.
To curb the danger inherent in the spread of the ailment, Lagos State AIDS Control Agency decided to bring the knowledge of HIV eyeball to eyeball with some religious leaders in the state to make them effective advocates against the prevention of the ailment and the stigmatization of those living with it.
Let's encourage people to know their status. And then when we sensitize the religious leaders, we remind them that there are different modes of transmission for HIV. So it's not only from sexual, encounters. What if it's from contaminated blood or using unsterilized needles or syringes?
Experts insist the stigmatization of persons living with HIV and AIDS keeps many away from testing to know their status. Some living with a health condition come down with mental illnesses because people vilify them instead of empathizing with and supporting them steadily.
Somebody could even already have mental health issues or symptoms before they get HIV. And then that complicates their matter. And then the stigma and discrimination they get as a result makes it even worse.
The participating religious leaders boast of a boost of their knowledge base and their readiness to work as change makers, especially in enlightening sexually curious young people about the importance of abstinence and safe sex.
I know I've had sometimes when somebody even told me using condom is like licking sweet with the wrapper. The issue is prevention, don't have sex, abstinence, or when you have to believe that you have to use condom to prevent it.
People living with HIV can live longer if they go to where they can be treated very well.
The talk is over. It's now time for action. Playing your own part to ensure that people living with HIV fulfill their potentials, it's now the target to pursue. Jacqueline Ogo, TVC News, Lagos.
Well, in business news, the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Mr. Godwin Emefiele, says the Apex Bank paid eligible exporters over 20 billion naira rebates in the second quarter of implementing the RT200 FX program for exports worth $600 million. Mr. Emefiele made this known on the sidelines of the Monetary Policy Committee, which held in Lagos, where he noted that the race to $200 billion is yielding good results under the RT200 program, as the bank received inflows as at June this year of over $2.9 billion US.
It is to the credit of the Buhari administration that we have, through this intervention, helped to impact positively on the lives of Nigerians. Yes, we have. During COVID-19, beginning around the period of the pandemic, we unveiled a couple of products. Is it the targeted credit facility, where people who are impacted, who could not work, who could not earn a living, got some little money, 500,000 naira, to set up their small businesses? Is it the SMEs, where you want to set up a hairdressing salon, or a sewing business, or a barber shop, or a block making factory? You are able to access finance and you don't have to know anybody in CBN to access this facility. We have done a couple in agriculture, we have done in healthcare, all to see to how we can be less reliant on imported items. We have tried as much as possible to provide intervention to people who are producing goods that should be produced in Nigeria than importing them. We have succeeded today in stopping the importation of rice.
Well, bread makers under the aegis of Premium Bread Makers Association of Nigeria, comprising owners, managing directors, and partners of premium bakeries in Nigeria, say they have concluded plans to embark on a 4-day warning strike beginning from Thursday, July 21st, that's tomorrow, 2022. President of the association, Mr. Emmanuel Onoha, who made the disclosure, maintains that the decision is in protest against increasing prices of baking materials in the country, adding that it has become impossible to operate bakeries in Nigeria. He noted that the operating environment in Nigeria is stifling the growth and sustainability of businesses, thereby calling on the government to put an end to multi-agencies regulations of the bread-making industry. In addition, they requested NAFDAC to review downwards the 154,000 naira penalty charged on bakeries for late renewals of certificates. Well, in a related development, the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, MAN, is lamenting over the country's tough operating environment as its members continue to shut down operations or relocate to other neighboring countries, which is constraining the sector's entire growth. Addressing journalists at the 2022 CEO's breakfast meeting of MAN, Ikeja branch, president of the association, Mr. Mansour Ahmed, explains that the country's operating environment is characterized by over-regulation, high production costs, FX shortages, unfriendly policies, infrastructure deficit, amongst other issues. Mr. Ahmed, who was represented by the Vice President, Mr. John Aluya, urged government to urgently intervene so as to hinder further closure of more industries across the country.
The environment now is very, very challenging for manufacturers. You are talking of high cost of energy, that's diesel and all that. And in the first place, for the manufacturer to leave their own specialization, which is producing goods, to start generating power, is already an abnormality, okay? And this is an extra investment that should have been used to develop the manufacturing process itself.
All we ask for is the cooperation and understanding from the government so that we can continue to manufacture. We need to sustain our manufacturing, and to sustain it, we need the government to give us the right environment. The biggest challenge we face is complete absence of infrastructure. If you don't have an infrastructure, there's no way you can manufacture.
With regards to competition against foreign imports, there needs to be some protection for our domestic industry. Remember again that we are going into the AFCFTA regime. So with the Africa Continental Free Trade Area Agreement, you'll find out that we'll get offshore players from other African countries coming here to play as well. So our manufacturers need to ensure that they protect their turf.
Director General of Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency of Nigeria, Mr. Olawale Fasonya, has promised to work with key stakeholders to cause a positive shift in the micro, small and medium enterprises development narrative in Nigeria, given its critical but highly endangered status in the economy. Speaking at an event in Lagos to empower business owned by people living with disabilities, the Smith and Boss says the agency is determined to enhance the growth and development of MSMEs across the country with a renewed drive. Fasonya, however, noted that the agency is putting in place programs and projects that will address the challenges faced by MSMEs across the country.
The idea is let's bring them together so that they can network. Let's see how we can get their products to the market. And that's why I said we are going to arrange a special opportunity fair for them, so where they can showcase their products. And after the training, we are still going to visit them individually and give them business development services. We will now do the legwork for them to make sure that they are able to access funds, they are able to access more knowledge, and like I said, the areas that they are lacking, we'll try to fill the gap.
We want the government to encourage us, probably give us a source of advertisement, how we can advertise our things. Maybe from there, people would know that what we have are quality things. They don't downgrade us, they don't look down on our products.
Well, let's move on now. Investors at the stock market continue with their zeal to take out funds from their investments in anticipation of downward trades in the coming months. Effiong Ekop reports on market.
Fund managers playing the nation's stock market were not eager to take risks on companies' equities. Strong moves to sell off shares for cash crashed prices in many market sectors. Low trade conditions brought the index of the market down by almost 0.25 percentage points. Losses hit hard on the shares of NACO, FCN Cocoa, and Nigerian Breweries. GPLC and Owando also came down on the trade value lines. Business gainers were Multiverse, CWG, Academy Press, TIP, and RT Briscoe. The volume of business handled in the market was 238 units of shares, while the trade value of the securities was 3.33 billion naira. Ifyong Ekop TVC News, Lagos.
Where oil prices at international market edged down today, pressured by global central banks' efforts to tame inflation and ahead of expected build in the U.S. crude inventories as product demand weakens. Now, U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude recorded a dip of 1.17% to hit $103 per barrel. Brent sells at $106 per barrel, registering a downward price margin of 1.25%. Oil Light's performance is still continuing with its losing streak, with a decline of 3.25%, selling at $118.10 per barrel. For the OPEC basket, crude oil dealers offer $108.80, recording a price surge of 4.19%.